And let's talk about this tier list we've got going on here. Welcome into those of you who are on the YouTube side now. 5 tiers technically, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Up here are teams who I think are going to be spending a lot of money. Then teams who are going to spend a little bit of money, good bit of money. Some like kind of in the middle because like you can't really put none here because teams aren't going to spend negative money, but teams who aren't going to spend very much at all, and the teams who are poverty, they really are not spending anything. I'm going to start at the bottom tier and work our way up because I like doing it that way. I think you guys do too. The videos that do better actually start at the bottom and work their way up. A couple of teams who I see doing absolutely nothing this offseason. The Twins are one. I think they're kind of done spending money. They might bring in a starting pitcher at most. Like, they are not doing much of anything. Another team I'm going down here, I'm going to put the Rays. They're going to make one signing maybe, and that's about it. I'm going to put the Marlins right with them. The Marlins are a little bit different this year because normally they would go out and they get a free agent. Think of like a Jorge Soler signing, Duvall a few years ago. This year it's different. They're in full set rebuild mode now. Whatever they were doing before did not work. They just got a new manager as well. Guardians aren't going to do anything. They never do. They're going to maybe look for a trade, but they're not going to bring in anybody signing-wise. There's no way. I'll put the A's down here because I don't think they're going to do much either, but they'll probably do a little bit more than normal. New city, more money on the way. We'll see, but still probably next to nothing coming from the A's. So 5 teams who are going to do next to nothing, I think, this offseason. Spending-wise, this is all about spending. Trades and stuff like that obviously can happen. The Guardians can get so much better in the margins if they want to go out and make trades like that. Stuff like that can definitely happen. Teams who I think are going to spend a little, but not a lot. That definitely includes the Rockies. They always kind of make a weird older starting pitching signing or something like that along those lines, or some kind of veteran gets signed. They'd probably do it a couple of times. Big into the extension game a couple years ago. I'm interested to see what they do. I think Pittsburgh belongs in this tier because I think that they know they have kind of a window opening right now. And their ownership has come out and made quotes, said that they're going to spend a little bit of money. I got to see it before I believe it. If anything, they're going to go out and get, like, I think in my predictions, I had, like, Anthony Rizzo is kind of their move. So I don't really know how much more than that they're going to get. Other than that, I think Milwaukee goes here. Some people think they're going to bring in like Bregman or something like that. That's not how they work. They go in the margins and they find better value for less money. I think the White Sox go here because I think they bring in a couple veterans, some guys to, I'm not going to say make them better because they're going to trade them at the deadline, but they're the worst team in history last year. You know what I mean? Like they can only go up. There's going to be a lot of teams that are here in this sum category. I think the Angels spend some money. They already have. They brought in Hendricks. Artie Moreno's weird. Like, his tendencies are very strange. He doesn't really have any pattern at all to him whatsoever. He just kind of throws money at people when it's not smart, especially. So I think he goes there. One team that's going to spend a lot less than a lot of people think, I think, is the Red Sox. I don't see this being their year to go out and get people. I think they'll be outbid. One, they're a smart enough organization to know that I don't think Max Fried makes them better right now. Like, I don't think that the marginal cost and the marginal benefit meet up for them to get a guy like Fried, which a lot of people like for them. I don't think it adds up. I don't think it's there. So I don't think the Red Sox add as much as people really think. Another team that I think spends some is the Diamondbacks. I think it's a first baseman, and that's it. I think they stop right there. I think they mostly run it back with what they had because you have to bank on them being better. They brought in free agents last year. That's what maybe they make a trade for like a shortstop, a better shortstop, but for the most part, they sign a first baseman, either Walker, Alonso, someone like that, and that's it. If it's Pete, it's a big signing, but I think the Orioles spend some, not a lot of money. I think they spend more than normal. But I think their limit is that they're going to maybe get Burns. If they don't get Burns, they bring in 2 starting pitchers. You know what I mean? They need an ace. And maybe they look to the trade market once again. Definitely a possibility. But if they don't get Burns, I don't see them like grabbing much else. You know what I mean? I think the Reds try to bring in pieces for their lineup. I said that in my predictions video. JD Martinez feels like a fit for them. And so an older in that lineup as well. Verdugo feels like a guy who could be there. They probably need an outfielder, so that could definitely add up. But I think they spend a little bit of money. Nothing, no like top big market free agents, anything like that. I don't see that happening for them this year. I think the Cardinals go in some, they're kind of on the borderline. They're the team I was thinking about before because they've they've said that they want to cut back on payroll for this coming year. But you'd think that they're going to try to bring in some kind of starting pitching because, I mean, their window's not fully closed yet. They've got good young talent. Sure, Goldschmidt's out of here. He's expiring. Arenado's probably going to be dealt. They're kind of a borderline team. talent-wise, they're definitely a borderline team, and they still have an ace in Sonny Gray. Royals spend a little bit of money. I think I like Santander to go there for sure, but I don't think their reach goes much farther than that. Maybe a starter. They already brought back Waco, we saw. So I think that was about a 12-ish, 13-ish a year kind of deal. I think it was 3 for 39. But Santander, some kind of outfielder. I don't think that their reach goes much farther than that, though. I think the Houston Astros go here because I think they look to the margins. I do. I think that their upgrade at first base, it's going to be very marginal, something along those lines. I like the fit there because I think he's also from Houston. So Goldie to the Astros makes sense, but I don't think they make much free agent upgrades. I don't even think they really bring back Bregman. I think they go for someone lower end, low risk, high reward, someone like a Yon Moncada, someone like that, who just needs a change of scenery at this point, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I don't think that they really spend on a big free agent. Nationals will get someone. I don't know who it's going to be, but the more and more I think about it, I love Christian Walker to go there for 3 years because they probably have a window to compete starting now. I hope they bring in a starting pitcher for their sake, but Walker to them also feels like a great fix. They need a first baseman badly. I don't like Pete to go there because I don't think he's the type of guy that they want pumped into that organization for 7 years or so. Walker for 3 is so much better of a value at the first base position. That's what teams are going to start to realize is that Walker is a far better value for 3 years than Alonso is for 7 or 8 years. I'm going to go Mariners. I don't think they spend a whole lot either, but they're desperate for a hitter, so they're probably also going to be in on Walker. That's probably about it. A lot of these teams are like, let's get a first baseman, pretty much. Like they're going to be very, very subtle, not a whole lot, but something that makes an upgrade. I think the Braves are right on the brink of these two tiers, but I am going to bump them up. So let's go to the next tier, which is spending a good bit of money. They need a shortstop. I think they're going to be serious players for Willy Adames, and I think they try to bring in a starter or two, maybe probably two. Someone who's going to be a low risk, high reward, and then someone who they can definitely plug in and make a serious starter. I think they'll be in on Jeff Hoffman because that kind of turning him into a starter kind of feels a lot like Braves, like what they want to do. They did it with Lopez. Maybe they do it with Hoffman. We'll see. But stuff like that. I think they definitely do that. And if they get Willie, that's a good bit of money invested. So I think that's why they go to this tier. I think the Cubs go here. They're definitely going to look to bring in a starter like Flaherty. I love the idea of Flaherty going there. And then probably try to bring in some kind of infielder, either a second baseman or a third baseman. Glaber makes a lot of sense. Those two moves to me make so much sense for the Cubs to do. I think the Phillies, the more that's come out about it, which we'll talk in a little bit, I think they go here. They're not going to be in on Juan Soto. That's part of the news we got to talk about in the next segment. If you're watching on the YouTube right now, check out the scoop. They're probably going to be in on a Bregman or something like that. I don't know why, because I feel like him and Bohm are at this point kind of similar. Bregman's got a little more pop, more experience, but I don't know. Alec Bohm is on the trade block, just a little bonus note, so they're probably going to be looking for an infielder of some kind. The Padres are another team that are on the brink here. I think they're similar to the Braves, and I feel like a trade is more inevitable than them signing someone. The more I think about it, though, I love Snell to go back to them. That just feels like such a perfect story too. Blue Jays are going to spend, man. I don't know if they get up to this kind of money, but they're going to get someone, no matter who it is, whether it's Santander, Bregman, Soto, something like that, and they're going to have to spend a little extra money to bring him in. I don't know if they get Soto. I don't think Soto wants to go there, so I think that's what keeps them from being up here, but Texas are going to bring in some starting pitching of some kind. They also kind of on the fringe, but I think they would want to go after a bigger starter. DeGrom's coming back too, so the window's still open for them. They still got a lot of talent on the roster. They can very easily make the playoffs next year if they can bring in starting pitching. Evaldi's got to come back, and they got to add someone onto that too. Giants will go here. They're kind of on this brink now. They're kind of sitting in between here. They need a superstar badly. I think they could trade for one for sure. They could trade for Correa or something like that. That's what I was talking about before. But I think for the most part, it's like an Adames. It's something like that they're looking to do. Someone who can play good defense for them. He can hit for a little bit, and he looks like he'll be good for 5 or so years, maybe more. Buster Posey, we forget. He's now president of baseball ops there. So he knows how to create a World Series winning team. He's been a part of a lot of them. 4 teams who are going to be spending a lot of money. We'll start with the Yankees. They also are kind of on this brink, but they're going to be players for Soto. And if they don't get Soto, they're going to bring in someone or two else. Because if they don't bring in Soto, they're realistically more than 2 hitters away from really having a complete lineup again. The Mets are going to be in on Soto for sure. But otherwise, we know they're going to spend money regardless. And they have a lot of guys to re-sign is another thing to think about. So that's where a lot of their money is also going to be allocated to. Even if they don't get Pete Alonso, they've still got Manaea to bring back. Quintana, if they want to do that. There's another one. Severino's got to be brought back. He probably is going to take the QO, I think, though, which is an interesting one. Dodgers, they find a way to spend money every single year. We know last year they spent $1 billion. I think they bring in Max Fried. That seems like the biggest one to me. Willy Adames is a great fit for them to kind of try to continue and make themselves into a dynasty here, because they've got a serious chance at winning a lot over the next few years. But the most interesting team of the offseason is the Tigers, who I expect to spend a lot of money this offseason. I think it starts with someone like a Bregman. Ha-Sung Kim, I think, is a perfect fit for that team. They're going to bring in a starter or two because they really only have one in the rotation. Jackson Jobe will get stretched out, so maybe there's two. Casey Mize, okay, there's three. We need another real deal starter who's a dog. Bringing Flaherty right back makes a lot of sense. That's one that could definitely happen. Snell, something like that. They're going to spend a lot of money. They're going to bring in a hitter, maybe two. They've got a real window now, and Max Clark is coming too. So infielder is probably going to be at the top of their list. Another starter has to be as well. I think they go high end with it. Tigers have a big offseason ahead of them. We'll see what they do with that. So that's the tier list. Let me know what you guys think about that. And thanks for watching.